Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina y el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin ti naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Hey, maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants. Those are the Lapa Lapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos Beach, and the El Dorado Restaurant and Beach Club right next door. So you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor, for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week we're going to be talking about the all-important meal, the brunch. I'm going to give you some of my favorites and some of your favorites as well. And I'm also going to take you on a tour of the Naval Museum here in Puerto Vallarta. But before we get to that, let's see what's happening this week in Puerto Vallarta, the 6th of June, 2019. Well, Puerto Vallarta celebrated her 101st birthday as a municipality on May the 31st. Wow, it's been a year already. And they had a big concert on the Malecon. They had lots of celebrations. They had lots of proclamations, you know. Commemorative awards were given out to some of Vallarta's most notable personalities, including one who we know, a friend of the show, been on the show, Javier Niño. Pintor Javier Niño was awarded a medal for his contributions to this lovely city, and it just so well deserved. So, congratulations, my friend. Congratulations, Javier Niño. By the way, the Manuel Lepe Museum is getting ready to open. I think it just did open. I tried to get up there and talk with them while I was in town. I just ran out of time, and they weren't quite ready for me to get up there and take pictures, but I'm going to get back there in October. We'll have pictures. We'll talk to them. It will be in Spanish. They don't speak English up there for some reason. I don't know what's going on, but that's going to be really cool. So once again, congratulations, Javier. Let's see, Restaurant Week, it continues. It's still going on, and it will happen for a couple more days until the 10th of June here in Puerto Vallarta. So you have just a few more days to pig out at your favorite restaurant at a bargain price. So just make sure that if you're in town or coming to town, take advantage. The Grill Kings Festival is coming up June 15th and 16th. It's going to be on the Cuale Island, and our buddy Edgar Rivas, who he seems to be dreaming up all these great festivals, and this is a new project for him. He's got grilling on his mind. He came to the meet and greet that we had over at Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse, and he told me about his new event, and he asked if he could share it with all of you, and I'm thinking, yeah, of course. So let's go right now to the rooftop at Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse, and let's talk to our friend, Edgar Rivas, and let's see what he's got planned. Edgar, you're on the show again.
It is a pleasure, Barry, to see you again here in Puerto Vallarta. Welcome again.
Thank you so much.
It's always your house here, your home, Puerto Vallarta, and pleasure as always.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. All right, so you got something new going on. We've got, tell everybody the different festivals that you've been working on, and then we'll talk about your new one.
Sure, because this is a new concept. So, in the beginning, I started actually in 2015. I started to organize the Ceviche and Aguachile Festival, and actually the taco fair. Those are my main projects, my little babies, for example. But now we are on the 8th edition of the Aguachile Festival. Is coming in July. Then I also organize the Brewmaster Festival, which is in November, and I do the Raicilla Festival in March. Some other activities. I also help to the community with the Mango Festival. It is a charity event for the sister cities and the Rotary Club in Vallarta. I help them. I support, some part of the graphic design, part of the promotion as the agency, Stratos Media. But that's a little bit of my background.
Mm-hmm.
And now in 2019, I'm creating, and it's going to be the first edition of the Grill Kings, Los Reyes de la Parrilla en español, para nuestros amigos. So the first edition of the Grill Kings, is the idea about to put together all these grill lovers, all the people who really meat lovers.
Into the meat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All the people who like all meat, juicy, these steaks. We're having 12 stands. Well, we're having some restaurants from Puerto Vallarta. They're going to bring some very interesting dishes.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have some chicken, pulpo zarandeado, octopus. If you guys know zarandeado.
Really? So the octopus zarandeado too?
Zarandeado, exactly.
Uh-huh.
We're having also picanha sandwiches. There's a guy going to grill the picanha and then make some good sandwiches, big sandwiches. There's an Argentinian guy who's living here in Vallarta. You might see it in the farmer's market in Old Town during the high season. Marcelo, he's coming with choripanes, very famous from Argentina.
What is that?
It is Argentinian sausage.
Okay.
It is like Argentinian hot dog, basically.
Okay.
But the sausage is different.
Uh-huh.
And they put, of course, chimichurri,
Right.
tomato, lettuce. It is very...
Make it nice and spicy and delicious.
Exactly.
Nice.
Of course, some ribs, Argentinian style. We're having also this very famous restaurant from Vallarta, Bonito Kitchen. It is located in Fluvial area. And these guys will come in and they will bring the Korean barbecue. It is interesting. The fusion they have in the kitchen is Asian food. So they will be part of the event with Korean barbecue.
Really? So do they barbecue over there at Bonita Kitchen?
See, actually, they have it in the inside.
Yeah.
It is not. Well, to be honest, I don't know if it's exactly like the grill, like charcoal, etc.
Okay.
Like the main.
Right.
But in this case, on the Grill Kings, the event we're having, the main concept of course is to grill all the meat, all the dishes. We're looking for a vegetarian restaurant too, to have a vegetarian option.
Yeah,
for
you
people.
need one of those for those
Sure.
troublemakers.
See.
Yeah.
We want to have some vegetarian options too. And interesting, we're having also craft beer. People from Sayulita, Jambak, Cervecería Jambak. It's coming from Sayulita, and they will bring all their different kind of beers, good quality. They've been part of the Brewmaster Festival, so I call them. I say, guys, would you like to come for the Grill Kings?
We need beer to wash this meat down with.
We need lots of beer. It's craft beer. It's perfect for the concept, no?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. All right. So now what are the dates going to be for this particular event?
Well, the Grill Kings is going to be on June 15 and 16. It's going to be held in the Cultural Center in the Cuale Island, right at the end of the Cuale Island, where is this nice patio. We're having all the stands and the vendors right there.
Mm-hmm.
Also in the garden area. It's going to be from 2 o'clock until 10 p.m. So it's going to be lunch, dinner time. So then you get ready. And during all these hours, we're having also live music shows.
Of course, you got to have that.
We're
You're
having
eating
some...
and drinking, you got to dance
exactly.
too, right?
Yeah, you need to dance too.
Settle things down.
Exactly. So we're having some reggae music, rock music. We're having a DJ too, playing a little bit of everything. Decades 70s, 80s, 90s music. Craft beer with 2 stands. We're having also wine. Of course, wine is perfect. Pairing with all the meat, all the kind of meat we're having. So we're having also Vinoteca. It's a new sponsor. And also cocktails with raicilla, mezcal, and tequila. all Mexican spirits, and we're having two mixologists. They will be doing and mixing great cocktails too. And of course, for the kids, we're having also some entertainment for kids with all the kids club. We're having some different games, activities, and for the adults, we're having also how you call it is mechanical bull.
Okay, yes, that's what you call it, all right.
See? Well, we're gonna have a mechanical bull, so we're doing contests. We're gonna do raffles with the breweries, and with the cocktail people. We're gonna do some coupons for food, etc. So part of the interaction with all the people who's coming, all the guests that we want to attend to the event, and also interesting. We're having like a big box ring. It is inflatable, box ring, inflatable, boxing. So with the giant box, the globes.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So you're having Rock'em Sock'em robots going on there. Okay,
something like the big globes. Part of the activities for all the people.
For the adults.
For the adults.
Yeah, that's not for kids, right? No.
So it's going to be part of the activities for the adults, and of course some activities too for the kids.
Yeah.
Entrance will be free. That's very important to mention. The idea is like each of the restaurants, all the sponsors, of course they will bring some very tasty, juicy meat, food, different kind of food, of course. The idea is like free entrance. You're welcome to take a look, and of course the most thing you like, of course, how much it is, and the idea is also they will have some special prices.
Sure.
It's not like the same price like you will pay on the restaurant.
Right. I want to roll in here and I want to have a ribeye steak, please, and that'll be 400 pesos. You're not going to get that.
Exactly. See, no, that's not the idea. They will not sell, of course, like the big steak, etc.
Yeah.
So no, the idea is like a good
like samples, like little plates, right?
So some of them they will do samples too, and the other will be selling the whole dish, but a special price.
Right.
So that's the idea: burgers, chicken, barbecue ribs, choripanes, picanha, of course, octopus. What else we're gonna have? We're having too like arrachera, very famous arrachera flank steak. So all different kind of meat. Well, so the idea, and of course to be in the Cuale Island, it's more like the feeling, the trees, the nature around, and it's more, the perfect place, like
the perfect setting.
Exactly.
Yes. All right. So Edgar knows how to do it. He knows how to put it all together. He knows how to get these guys together, which is really cool. He is able. He's got all these great connections, so he's able to reach down into his bag of tricks. And he can invite these guys, these raicilla guys, these beer guys, all the music and stuff like that. So, yeah, you seem to know what you're doing. What's with that?
Thanks, man. So the idea is this is a new concept, as I told you. So we're looking forward to keep doing every year,
Sure.
like the rest of the festivals that I organize in town. So June it is still good option for the rain season, of course. So I'm hoping it's not going to be a rainy day.
Always June 15th. You find some rain coming around here. Be careful, brother. All right?
It's like 50-50 chances.
Yeah, it's a 50-50. You're a chance taker, Edgar. I like that about you.
And that we can stop because of the weather and these conditions.
Yeah.
But the idea is to keep working, and we are not in the high season anymore, but there's a lot of expats, there's a lot of people who's living here in Vallarta permanently.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's still a lot of visitors that are coming, man.
Say my personal idea, if it's for the people that is coming, even though, or the people who still coming during all the year visiting us in Puerto Vallarta. So perfect time for you guys to, next time when you hear in the program, take a look and mark in your schedule.
That's right.
For June 15 and 16.
Excellent. All right. I'll have all that information in the show notes. And as we get closer to the event, I'll make sure that I remind each and every one of you to get your rear ends over to Cuale Island and enjoy the Grilling Festival.
Exactly.
Edgar, thanks for coming on the show again, man.
No, it's a pleasure, Barry, as always. Well, guys, hope to see you here in June in Puerto Vallarta.
Okay, all right, we'll save those dates. We're talking about June 15th, my birthday. and June 16th. That's Saturday and Sunday. June 16th is Father's Day, I believe. And it's going to be on Cuale Island, where the cultural center is. So it's way back on Cuale Island. And Edgar is tempting the rain gods. I mean, the 15th is usually the start of the rainy season in Puerto Vallarta. It's almost like clockwork. But let's hope that the rain doesn't come and douse the coals. You don't want to have that first gully washer of the year happening during the grilling festival, right? So fingers crossed for you, Edgar. And get on down there if you're in town Saturday and Sunday. I will remind you again next week about this cool event. And so June 3rd was Navy Day in Puerto Vallarta. And they had all kinds of boats out on the bay. It was not what you would call a smooth day. It was a little rough out there, but they had a Navy cruiser out there, and there was a mock battle between the Margalante and the Navy cruiser. The Margalante is the pirate ship, of course, and there were all sorts of vessels, all sorts of private vessels afloat there. It was quite a menagerie. I would have not liked to have been out there. Anyway, they had a great time. And I'm figuring, well, as long as we're talking about Navy Day, why don't we take a look and see what's going on at the Naval Museum this week? Now, I've walked past this place probably 100 times, maybe 200 times, maybe 300 times. I don't know. How about you? The Navy Museum, the Museo, is right next to the amphitheater where the arches are on the Malecon. It's a very large two-story building. It's right next door to Domino's Pizza, okay? It's right there on the corner of Zaragoza and the Malecon. Now, if we take a little look at the history of the building, you will note that in 2006, the Mexican Navy opened the Naval History Museum. The colonial-style building next to Los Arcos on the Malecon was formerly the Port Authority office, the Navy Hospital, and later the Navy headquarters. In 2016, the museum was renovated again, and let me tell you, it's just a very cool place. It's a real surprise, and it's a great way to learn about Mexican history as you walk through these displays in this museum. It's interactive. There's English and Spanish displays. There are artifacts like uniforms, there were weapons, furniture, navigational tools. Everything was just beautifully displayed. They had models and so forth. Anyway, let's go to the front door. Let's go to the entryway over at the Mexican Naval Museum, and let's visit with Seaman Celis and hear what Jacinto has to say about the museum. All right, I am with Jacinto Celis. And Jacinto, thanks for coming on and talking with me a little bit.
Hi, hello.
Where are you from?
I'm from Guadalajara.
Very good. And you are a Marine?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been a Marine?
I have 3 years.
Okay, so this is a pretty sweet place to be if you're a Marine, over here at the Marine Museum, right? Tell us a little bit about the museum. When people come here, is it a guided tour or a self-guided tour?
Self-guided tour. Yes, we have here in the Tuesday to Sunday. Then the museum is open at night to 7 o'clock. You can go inside to check a lot of exhibition. It's about the Mexican Navy, and we have the history of the intervention, like French, Spain, and United States of America. And we have the souvenirs. And we have in the morning a coffee shop. We have breakfast, 9 to 2 o'clock. So you can come in someday.
So you have some tables that are set up outside, right? So that's where you serve the food?
Yes, we have the service outside of the museum, and we have inside too.
Ah, fantastic. So you can come, you can have breakfast, you can tour the museum, learn a little bit about Mexican naval history, and do it right here in beautiful Puerto Vallarta.
Is correct?
All right. Hey, how much does it cost?
45 general admission. Seniors, students, and teachers pay only 30 pesos, and Army, Navy, Air Force, any part of the world is free entrance.
Any part of the world, really?
Yes, any part of the world.
Oh, that is totally cool. Listen, I want to thank you so much, Jacinto, for talking with me. I really appreciate it. Hey, what is your rank in the Navy?
I'm a seaman.
You are a seaman. All right. Well, I got to tell you, you did great here. Thank you for talking with me.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sailor. Thank you, Jacinto. Very good, very good. Now, let me give you guys a pro tip. On Wednesdays, Jacinto didn't tell you this, but entry to the museum is free on Wednesdays. But come on, you guys. Let's face it, 45 pesos, it's like $2.50. It's worth the $2.50. It's worth the 45 peso entry fee. So don't cheap out. Get over there and check it out. Now, the place is air conditioned, and it's just beautiful inside. If you walk inside the building, and you just cool down right away. To your right, you'll notice a gift shop, and you will notice the cafe, the indoor cafe. And then to the left is where you would go and begin your tour. And the tour begins, pre-Hispanic, and then it goes all the way through the different entanglements, from Aztecs to the Spanish and the French and the U.S. and all the revolutions and all the great history of Mexico as you're walking through this, and you hear this nice music, very relaxing, and again, just very well done. Then you head upstairs, and then there's more of the same, more models and things like that. And then there's this really cool navigation simulator. It's got 5 screens, and you stand at the pilot's wheel, and you pilot a ship. You can pilot a ship through the docking process and sailing techniques, and it was very, very interesting. And I was kind of the only one upstairs at the time, so I had a great time using the simulator. And if you happen to be there at a similar time when there aren't a lot of people around, you too can enjoy playing around with that. Like I said, downstairs they have a cafe, they have a little gift shop, and the whole tour will take you a little less than an hour. Depends on how long you want to linger and what you want to do in there. But you could take as long as you want. It's a great place to cool off, and it's a big surprise. It's a big building, and how many times have I walked past that place and never gone inside? So I took lots of pictures, and I have them in the show notes. But next time you go there to Puerto Vallarta, just check it out yourself. I didn't take pictures of every room, okay? So I want you to go and see what the museum's about. 45 pesos, it's totally worth it, guys. Now, the last show, I talked about the efforts to stop the hydroelectric dam up in Boca de Tomatlan. I'm not going to have time this week to adequately, explain the situation. So next week, I'm going to dedicate a big part of the show to what is the disaster that is happening right now in Boca. They've begun to dynamite the area near Chico's Paradise, downstream from them, in preparation for building this hydroelectric dam on the Rio Horcones. This is, as far as I'm concerned, this is an ecological disaster. It's just an economic disaster for the people downstream from this dam. It makes me angry. to think about what's going to happen to these guys. And I don't have the time to dedicate, to the subject right now. Next week, we're going to take a closer look at the situation, and I'm going to talk about some examples of some hydroelectric gone bad. I'd like you to go over to the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show Facebook page and just, like the page if you haven't already. Check out the information that I've been posting about hydroelectric dams, about the goings-on down there and the protests that are happening over in Boca de Tomatlan. I've got all that information, and you can find it, like I said, over at the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show Facebook page. Check it out. Like the page if you haven't already. And stay tuned, and we'll talk about it next week. Now, let's get on with the topic of the show. We're going to talk about brunches in Puerto Vallarta. Now, this topic was spurred on by my buddy, Dwight, and Dwight wrote to me. He sent me an email, said, "Hi, Barry. Thanks for the recent podcast. You said you love emails and that you welcome ideas for future topics. I have an idea. What about Sunday brunch? I realized after my last trip that I have never had a single Sunday brunch in Puerto Vallarta. Not a single mimosa or eggs Benedict. I know they exist, but I don't know where to start. Can you help? You could even have a different category, such as best value or best location. Anyways, just an idea. Next time I'm down there in May, I'm definitely going to be searching out a great Sunday brunch. Cheers, Dwight." So, very good. Thank you, Dwight. And this is going to be dedicated to you. All right. Let's talk about brunch. I mean, what is a brunch? Having grown up, and had my formative years in the late 70s and 80s, I always thought that brunch was a meal that you took, if you woke up after a heavy night of partying and looked next to you and there was somebody you didn't quite recognize, and so you figured, let's go have brunch and see who you are. No? All right. Well, according to Webster's, brunch is a combination of lunch and breakfast, eaten usually during the late mornings to early afternoon, generally served from 11 in the morning, and regularly has some form of alcoholic drink, most usually champagne or a cocktail served with it. So let me read from an article that I found in mashed.com about brunch. It goes, "The very word brunch is a combination of the words breakfast and lunch. It was reportedly first used in print in 1895 by British writer Guy Beringer. Beringer, a writer for Hunter's Weekly, wrote an article entitled Brunch, a Plea, which made the case for a Sunday meal that was lighter than the typically heavy traditional Sunday supper. Brunch is cheerful, sociable, and inciting, Beringer implored. It's talk compelling, it puts you in a good temper, it makes you satisfied with yourself and your fellow beings. It sweeps away the worries and the cobwebs of the week." The popular periodical Punch picked up this article in 1896, and the idea began to spread, reaching American shores by the 1920s. Food historians aren't in complete agreement on what the exact spread would have looked like at an old-timey brunch. Many believe that the first brunches to have been England's hunt breakfasts, which were a feast of meats hunted that day, along with eggs and stews and fruits and sweets. Others believe it was the Catholics who first enjoyed a late morning brunch, a result of their early morning pre-church fasting. Brunch in the 1920s was a meal for the upscale crowd, a crowd who could get away with day drinking with gusto not to mention blatant disregard of prohibition. Cookbooks of the 1930s recommended a brunch hostess make alcohol available for her male guests, but avoid imbibing herself, suggesting recipes for mocktails like tomato and clam juice. It wasn't until the early 1950s that day drinking's stigma diminished within the middle class, with the post-World War II families now possibly including working women who were looking for a weekend respite from the work week. The Bloody Mary cocktail, which may or may not have been named for Mary, Queen of Scots, was invented in France, but spiced up for American tastes at New York City's King Cole Bar. The Bloody Mary was a likely choice for a brunch drink due to its hair of the dog status as a hangover remedy and its similarity to the non-alcoholic tomato juice cocktails that were both widely served as appetizers in restaurants and renowned as healthful elixirs. The 1980s ushered in a brunch culture that most influenced the brunches that we enjoy today. The age of conspicuous consumption saw the introduction of lavish brunch buffets, harkening back to its American origins as a meal for the wealthy upper class. Today, brunch may owe its prominence in pop culture to the ladies of Sex and the City, making it no surprise that Food and Wine magazine named New York City the best brunch city in the United States. Eggs Benedict, perhaps the most famous brunch dishes, was invented in New York City, with the city's brunch menus also frequently featuring local favorites like Novalox and smoked sturgeon. So, I have a link to that mashed.com article in the show notes if you want to read it, but I just read it to you. Why would you want to do that? Anyway, it's there. Take a look. Maybe I wasn't that far off with that brunch thing. Anyway, I have a few favorites. Actually, I have a lot of favorites. And I'm going to talk about mine, and I'm going to talk about yours too. I asked some TripAdvisor buddies what their favorite brunches were, and of course I asked you, and I had a lot of people answer me. So let's talk about my favorites, and we'll get to yours, okay? Some of my favorites are yours, all right? Don't worry. My favorite place to eat brunch, well, one of my very favorite places to eat brunch, I've got a bunch of them. I love brunch. Is Mi Cafe, and I love that place. It's my favorite plate, my favorite dish there is the French toast, and the bread is a thick slice. It's like a cinnamon roll, the way that they make it and cook it on both sides. It's just so sweet, and you hardly need syrup. You wouldn't need syrup, but they give you syrup, and I put it on anyway because they give it to me, and I figure that's how you make it taste the best. So they make it with sliced strawberries and pecans and fresh fruit and some bacon, and it is one of my very, very favorite brunches. They have all sorts of breakfast treats there, all of these standards, the chilaquiles and all that other stuff. But my favorite is definitely that cinnamon roll French toast that they have there. It's just so good. Adalberto, who is the owner, he grew up in the restaurant business. His uncle is Alberto Perez from La Palapa. We talked about that before. And this restaurant is up in the Emiliano Zapata neighborhood. It's just a place that I never miss for brunch. And yes, they have a full bar up at Mi Cafe, which qualifies them in that brunch category. All right, the next one, another great one of my favorites, is La Palapa. Now, don't think that this is a big ad. It's not. I do an ad every week for La Palapa. because we do the theme song, but I just love this place. They are usually, you think about Lapa Lapa as a kind of a pricey restaurant, a little expensive, but you can get a lovely breakfast or brunch there for under under $10 US. That would be under 200 pesos, okay? I usually order, when I go there, I order the crab cake eggs Benedict. It is just a treat for me. Instead of the English muffin, it's just on this crab cake, and it is delightful. It comes with hash browns and a little vegetable, little fruit, and I just love that dish. I can sit down, I can have a cup of coffee, my feet in the sand, and maybe a glass of juice, and the whole thing costs me $12 US, and it's just top-notch service. It's Lapa Lapa, so it is a great place to go for brunch, and of course they have a full bar at Lapa Lapa. Let me also point out, though, that if you are going to go for breakfast at Lapa Lapa, you've got to get there before noon, because after noon, that really great breakfast menu disappears. You will be disappointed if you get there after 12. So it does make it into the brunch category just barely, because they turn off all the fun at noon. But it's worth it. Get over there and try that terrific Eggs Benedict. It'll blow your mind. Now, the next one is another one of my favorites. It's Serrano's, Serrano's Meat House. And it's on the south side. It's in a great spot for people watching. It's right there at Parque de los Azulejos. It's right on the corner of Lazaro Cardenas and Olas Altas, right? It's just a busy area, and like I say, you're sitting right across from Parque de los Azulejos. You just watch the people and the world go by. The service is great, and you just sit right there, sidewalk style. And if you like chilaquiles, which I do, they make some great chilaquiles. They make it with chicken con pollo, but this is a steakhouse, and one of my favorite things, and I'll spend a little extra money to do this, is I'll order my chilaquiles with a skirt steak on it, and it is so good. You have that with a mimosa or a Bloody Mary, and it will just make your day. And yes, of course, they have a full bar at Serrano's Meat House, so that is another great place to sit, people watch, and just have brunch. The next one I would talk about is Freddy's Toucan. Now, I know that everybody talks about Freddy's, and it's people think it's boring, but it's not. When I go to Freddy's, I am boring. I get the pancakes. I get like the Grand Slam breakfast. But you can't go wrong when you go there. They've got great service. They've got great fresh baked pastry. They serve you right when you sit down. They'll let you choose a lovely pastry, and they've got an extensive menu with Mexican and north of the border treats. Freddy Garcia will be at the door more than likely to greet you, and it is an all-time favorite of mine. I just love Freddy's Toucan. It's economical, and of course they have a full bar, which qualifies them for the brunch department. The next one is Memo's Pancake House, and any mention of Freddy's Toucan cannot stand without a mention of Memo's. The Pancake House is a beautiful space, lots of tables, and it's just up the street, a couple blocks up the street on Basilio Badillo from Freddy's Toucan. It's got plants inside and greenery and trees. It is a large, tall space and high ceilings. The omnipresent, translucent, corrugated plastic roof, filters the light in and keeps the place dry when it rains. And the space, it's beautiful. It's not as refined as Freddy's Toucan is. It's not as modern inside. In fact, it's not modern at all. It is not the well-polished machine that Freddy's is, but Memo's Pancake House it's good brunch, and it's good breakfast, and legend has it that it was Memo that was running Freddy's way back in the day when it was the Toucan, when I used to go there in the early 80s, and it was indeed the best breakfast in Puerto Vallarta. And then one day, family moved in, and Memo had to move out, and he was out of a job, so he moved up the street, and he's been doing breakfasts up there since 1987. Over 32 years up there in Puerto Vallarta. Of course, they have a full bar, and that makes them brunch certified. One of my next favorite brunch spots in Puerto Vallarta is a place called Coexist Bistro. And Coexist is in the Hotel Rio Malecon. And I usually, when I go there, they have a dining room, but I go into the bar area where they have tables. You can sit at the bar, but they have some nice tables set up there. They usually have the big screens playing surf movies, and so you can enjoy a very relaxing meal. So you can open the windows sometimes, or if it's a hot day, they'll close them and close things, and they'll turn on the air conditioner for you and keep you nice and cool. They make crepes, they have omelets, they have pancakes. But when I go there, I order this Yucatan dish called matuleños. And the matuleños is made with eggs and ham and Gouda cheese and black refried beans, all on a corn tortilla with avocado and tomato salsa and little fried plantain on the side, and it is so good. That is my favorite dish there, and that's where I go to get my motoleños. They used to have a picture in the dining room of a monk on fire, and it's been replaced by a nice mural. Somebody must have gotten a hold of somebody over there and said the monk in full flame, not appetizing, folks. It was disgusting. So good on them for painting over that disgusting burning monk. And Coexist actually has a lovely bar. That's where you're going to be sitting and enjoying that fantastic Sunday or Saturday or any day of the week brunch over at Coexist. And of course, has the bar. It rates for brunch, you alcoholics. The next one is Cuatecicuetes. I love having breakfast at Cuatecicuetes. It's right on the beach. I love their chilaquiles verdes con pollo. It is inexpensive. It is delicious. And I ask them usually when I go there, I say, make it spicy for me. And they look at me funny. And they say, really? And I say, yes. And so they bring it to me and they stick around to see if I'm going to burn up. But I look at them and say, what are you trying to tickle me? And they make great breakfasts there. The service is terrific, and they've got booze, and they have a webcam, and they've got a terrific view of the Los Muertos Pier. So I love Cuatecicuetes, and Cuatecicuetes is going to be right there on my list of favorite brunches in Puerto Vallarta. All right, So those are some of my favorites. Those are the ones that are sit-downs. They are not buffets. Now, people, when they talk about brunch, a lot of them are saying, well, when I talk about a brunch, I'm talking about a buffet, but we don't. We're talking about, it could be a buffet or it can be a sit-down brunch. It doesn't matter as long as the place has got a bar where they'll serve you Bloody Marys or mimosas. And so this is why we're taking this trip without going to buffets all the time. But let's go take a look at some buffets, shall we? You can usually get buffet-style breakfasts at most of the hotels and resorts that people stay at, right? But they're usually pretty bad. In fact, I had a buffet brunch at the Los Arcos Hotel over at their little restaurant called El Pueblito. It was really bad. It was expensive and bad. So let me just warn you ahead of time. There are plenty of other places to get a good brunch. Skip El Pueblito, okay? So let's get to my favorites and some of yours too. As far as buffet-style brunches, in order of the most votes, the one that got the most votes was the brunch at the Sheraton Bougainvillea. And so, interestingly enough, listener Dwight, the man who wrote the email to me and asked me about brunches in Puerto Vallarta, Dwight and I went to the Sheraton. We met over there and we checked out their buffet. So let us hear what it sounds like as you walk up to the front door. Let's meet the man who is going to take us up to the buffet.
Hola, good morning, senor. Welcome to your Hotel Sheraton. My name is Manuel. Can I do something for you?
I'm just arriving for the brunch.
Okay, excelente. Please, this way, senor. Come with me. I'm going to explain you right now how to get to the restaurant where the brunch is today. Where are you from?
Los Angeles?
Los Angeles. Excelente. Very nice place to live, Los Angeles.
It's okay. It's not Puerto Vallarta, my friend.
Oh, but that's a nice place. I've been there when I was a child, but this place is so beautiful.
Yes, it
It
is.
is a paradise. Very good, senor. So I really hope you enjoy the brunch. And if there is something that I can help you with, just please come right here with me. My name is Manuel.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, senor. You're welcome.
So, he led us over past the swimming pool and over to a large palapa, and that is where they had the brunch. And the Sheraton has a huge international buffet with tons of food, with free-flowing champagne and mimosas. They had a wonderful mariachi group called Joya de Mexico. We'll listen to that. And then to top it off, you can actually use the pool area for the whole afternoon. You could actually stay if you wanted to, which is a perfect thing for those of us who don't have a pool at our not-so-fancy Airbnb, Some people say that reservations are required. They weren't when we went up there. But for the Sunday brunch, I believe the cost is 500 pesos, which is about $25 US. And you get a view of the pool. You can see the ocean from the palapa. The food is great. The music is terrific. And let's listen to the mariachi Joya de Mexico just for a little bit. Get a sample of what they sound like. It's pretty sweet. remember to bring your swimming gear if you want to stay. And it was good. The food was delicious, and the surroundings were great, and of course the music was terrific as well. Now, next in line is Hacienda San Angel and Casa Kimberly. They came in second and in third in the buffet style categories. The Hacienda San Angel and the Iguana over at Casa Kimberly both have serving stations where they serve up sliced prime rib, where they serve up eggs Benedict, tamales, omelet station, beautiful desserts, complimentary Bloody Marys too, and a very, very nice space. Just beautiful view, a view of the church and the red tile roofs and the Bahia de Banderas. They have roaming violinists too, and that brunch also is 495 or 500 pesos, something like that. It's also seasonal. So right now, if I'm talking to you right now, and it is June. They are not serving brunch, and so you gotta wait till high season, and then reservations are a must if you're going to go to either one of these places. You should make them months in advance if you can. And I've been told that you could do it online, but I was told that the big tip is if you want to make a reservation, make a call, give them a call, and make the reservation by phone. I will have the contact information, by the way, for Hacienda San Angel and for Casa Kimberly in the show notes. The next one is La Playita. And La Playita is at the Lindomar. The Lindomar Resort is just a big favorite of buffet goers. The biggest draw of La Playita is the incredible view. Your beachfront with one of the nicest beaches as far as beauty goes in Puerto Vallarta. It's a little rocky, but it's just beautiful. And this brunch is your typical Mexican buffet brunch. The cost currently is 215 pesos, both on Saturday and on Sunday. You should probably call for reservations too, just to be safe. Now, the next one is the River Cafe, and the River Cafe is on the Isla Cuale. It's on the Cuale Island. It's a beautiful restaurant. They're right on the river. That's why they call it the River Cafe. They do have a buffet style breakfast. They serve Mexican and American dishes. The setting, of course, like I said, is just lovely, and it's under 300 pesos. They have a full bar, of course, and it's good. It's very, very good. The next one, the next buffet is the buffet that I happen to like best, and that is the Canopy River. They have this brunch buffet, and it's on Saturdays and Sundays, and it is a huge Mexican-style brunch with mariachis. It has a view that is incredible. If you can get up there when it's clear, you can see all the way to the bay. It's way up in the mountains, right above Puerto Vallarta. You just go straight up, and you're there. You can actually get a ride there by the Canopy River folks. You just make your reservations and go to one of their stops, and they'll pick you up, and they'll from anywhere in town, from places in town. I shouldn't say anywhere. Usually their office is in town, and you hop on their little transport, and they'll take you up there, or you can get a ride. It's probably best if you can get the transport, and it is beautiful, and they have. Like I say, they've got the mariachis, and the food is really good. And when you're done eating, you can take a stroll across the Jarulo Bridge. And the Jarulo Bridge is the world's longest wooden suspension bridge. If you haven't been up there, you gotta see it. It's breathtaking, and it's a lot of fun to walk across the bridge. There's a charge for that. I don't know what it is. I know that the brunch costs about 200 pesos, which is very inexpensive for this particular brunch. And if you can avoid, drinking booze, it can also be very economical as well. And I'm a cheap guy, but we're talking about booze and eating in the morning. We're talking about mimosas. They've got the full bar. They've got everything you need up there at Canopy River. Once again, that is my favorite brunch in Puerto Vallarta. Now, more sit-down service. Daiquiri Dix. This was one. I got lots of emails telling me that they love the Eggs Benedict at Daiquiri Dix. Okay, that's what you like, then I'm with you. But what most of the people liked about Daiquiri Dix was they liked the service. They liked the fact that you could eat inside in the covered area, you could eat on the patio, or you could eat over on the beach. They love the service, as I said. They love the bar. And you could actually stay there on a lounger all day long if you want to. Just keep on eating and drinking, and some people never leave. They just got to peel them off and get them out. So yeah, Daiquiri Dix is a favorite for many of you who sent me emails. Coco's Kitchen is another big favorite of many of you and many of my guests, and I like it too. It's in the romantic zone. It's on Pulpito 122. The space itself is beautiful. It's just very big. It's bright. It's got trees and greenery growing all around. And it's got a real romantic feeling. At night, Coco's it's so beautiful. They've got these little mini lights in the trees, and it's really sweet. But for breakfast, it's got a full breakfast menu. It's not a huge breakfast menu, but some of the favorites here are chilaquiles verdes con pollo, which is one of my favorites, of course. They have French toast, which is stuffed with this cream cheese, which is pretty good. I've had that. They also have a French toast that is made like with the cinnamon roll. That's pretty good. I must say I like the one over at Mi Cafe better by far. They have they got a great full bar there. So there you go. Coco's needs to be included in our best brunches in Puerto Vallarta. Of course, they have the Eggs Benedict. Most of these people do. Next is Mr. Cream. Mr. Cream is in Marina Vallarta, and it is, without a doubt, by far, hands down, the favorite among you foodies having breakfast over in the marina. And so, as a result, it's on our brunch list. All of the classic breakfast selections are there on their menus. They've got Mexican and international food, but this place is known for their wonderful pancakes and their waffles. They're known for large portions. They've got varieties, all different varieties of your all-time favorite breakfast, the pancake. Mr. Cream is open daily from 8 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon, and it's all about the breakfast there. And you can get booze there too, so there you have it. Next on our list, we're going to go, since we're getting out of town, since we just went to the marina, let's go to out into the neighborhood, into Fluvial. And there's a place called Los Alcatrazes de Vallarta. And it was recommended to us by our friend Robina Oliver from Serenita Reina, from the Bathing Suit Place. And they, according to her, have a great big breakfast and lunch. They're open for dinner too, but it's a good, different neighborhood to visit. They got the booze, and if Robina says it's good, it must be good. So we're going to include Los Alcatrazes de Vallarta in Fluvial on our list. Next, we have an interesting spot. It's called Lucumbe, and Lucumbe was introduced to me by my friend Nacho, Anastasio Vargas, and he's an artist over on the Malecon, and it's a really cool place. Most locals here know this place, and it's a great place if you have kids, young kids, for example. They've got a great spot for them to play. It's located on Avenida Los Tules in Colonia Jardines, and it's a two-story restaurant. It's a cafe that is kind of open air. And like I said, they've got this great play area for the little ones, and they make their own baked goods on the premises. They've got all the great breakfast favorites, both Mexican and American, and lunch, of course, and sandwiches and burgers and steaks and salads and booze. And, well, it's local flavor, you guys. It's got some nice surroundings, and it's just something different. It's a different place to go if you want to get out of town and try it out. They're open from 8 in the morning until 10:30 in the evening, 7 days a week. And so check that place out, especially if you have kids. Now I'm going to add two more that I discovered when I was down there, and they're buffet style, and they're both pretty good. So the first one is Decantero, and Decantero is on Basilio Badillo. It's across the street from Joe Jack's. It's right next door to Polo's. It's about a year and a half old, I think, and the space is just beautiful. I walked in there. They have a really lovely outdoor space, and then they also have an air-conditioned restaurant, too. They've got a wood-fired oven in the back. They have a lovely buffet Sunday brunch, very reasonably priced, and like I said, a very lovely space. It's owned by the same people who own the Vallarta factory. If you know where that is, it's the Vallarta factory it's a cigar and chocolate and coffee place. It's on the corner just as the buses that are heading north, that they cross the old bridge, and then they turn down towards the Malecon on Libertad. They're right on that corner there. And they also own Swell Beach Club. So very nice. It's a very good place to get a brunch over at Decantero. And actually I have an interview coming up with the folks over at Vallarta Factory pretty soon. So yes, that's another one I found very, very cool. And then the last one I found was also in Cinco de Diciembre. It's down on Camarones Beach. And that place is Mango's Beach Club. They have a beautiful spot right there, like I said, on the beach, and they've got a medium-sized buffet-style brunch that's there on Saturdays and Sundays, right on the beach. You can sit inside the patio, or you can sit out on the sand. The service is great, and you're right on Camarones Beach, and I just love the view looking down towards the Iglesia de Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe from Camarones Beach. It's just beautiful, especially in the morning. And, of course, we're talking about the morning. We're going to be there then. So I discovered that place over at Mango's Beach Club. Very nice buffet-style brunch. All right, so that wraps up your and my picks for what turns out to be 19 brunches in paradise. And now look, I know that there's more, because there are hundreds of Vallarta brunches, hundreds of restaurants, right? So I'm sure I've missed a couple of your favorites, and if I have, then you need to do what I tell you to do all the time. Let me know about them. Send me an email, and I can maybe even add them to my list. Tell me why I should have them on the list, okay? But anyway, these 19 should keep each and every one of you busy, at least for a couple Sundays and Saturdays, just in case you wake up next to a complete stranger one morning, and or just someone you love, and you want to take them to the brunch. So here's to the brunch, my friends, and thanks for listening to that. Okay, and that should do it for this week. I should hope so. Next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant and excursion ideas, and more. But until then, remember this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, then please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him, right from his website. Remember, it's a value-for-value proposition, my friends. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying, thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were going to use someone else, so just do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And don't forget, he's got his maps, his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more, and I have links to all of those in the show notes. And once again, if you like this podcast, just take the time and subscribe and give me a good review if you would. That way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Remember, I made it easy for you to do just that with each episode I create. But if you haven't been to my website, shame on you. You gotta go there. Have a look. I have links to the places we talk about. I have interesting pictures and more right there, right in the show notes, right in the blog posts for each episode that I create. Check them out if you haven't already, all right? All right. Thank you, Dwight. Thanks for that email. Thanks for joining me in Puerto Vallarta, helping me check out that top boat getter, the brunch over at the Sheraton. And we also had a great dinner with Dwight's sister, Lois, over at Chinando's. One of my favorites, not for brunch, but it was for dinner. It was so good. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. But, it was really nice not to have to be all alone in Puerto Vallarta. So thank you. Thanks for helping me out, you guys. And thank you, Edgar Rivas. Listen, don't miss the Grill Kings Festival on Cuale Island, 15th and 16th of June. Fingers crossed, no rain for you guys, okay? And thank you, Seaman Solis. Thanks for telling us about the Naval Museum. Next time you're in Puerto Vallarta, folks, get on over there. Don't walk past it. Walk in. Check it out for sure, okay? It's cheap. And look, thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler, signing off with a wish for all of you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino interno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. Pronto cae la noche, brillas Puerto Vallarta, samba de Puerto Vallarta.